Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nishta. Today, we have an awesome leader with us who has around 35 years of industry experience. We have Mr. Somjit Amrit, who is the CEO of the Technology Innovation Hub of IIT Mandi. The ability to absorb technology for business needs has been his identity, which is validated by him being in the cusp of technology trends as they emerge. Office automation in early 90s, e-commerce in early 2000s, followed by IT services, product engineering, software platforms, and now social engineering. Somjit, our guest today, is the winner of Asim Premji Award for Innovation and the AG's Graham Bell Award in 2010 and 19 respectively. He is an MBA from IIM Lucknow and BTech from NIT Roorkela. So happy to have you here, Somjit. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of our Nishta's journey.
Thanks, Suba. It has been an honor to be at Nishta. I have been fortunate to be a LinkedIn connect with Nishta and yourself, and the kind of concepts Nishta brings to the table in a way which is conversational, in the way which is adaptable, in the way which is experiential has been wonderful.
Something about IIT Mandi to start with, Somjit.
IIT Mandi is in the pristine hill state of Himachal Pradesh. Many people ask me, where is Mandi? It is located in the foothills of Himalaya. The Himalayan range, which on which it is lying, is the Dhauladhar range. We have research centers where, like for me, like I handle human-computer interaction. We have created a center for human-computer interaction. We have created yoga mats wherein a person can. That is a device-led human-computer interaction wherein the yoga mat has sensors in 8 places so that it will tell you whether you are doing the yoga properly or not. So therefore, signals will come to you that you have to reset yourself or revisit your poses so that you do it well. So that is another. It is lying on my table. I take it home every day to do yoga, and it is sold in 18 countries across the world. So this is a output from our iHub. So as I explained to you some time ago, there are 4 areas in which we work: translation research. Number 2 is skill development. Number 3 is industry collaboration, and number 4 is incubation and acceleration. So these 4 things need to prepare us to build a competency center so that anyone who is looking at anything to do with human-computer interaction, the objective is to make them come to IIT Mandi, which possibly should have the best way to interface with anything to do with human-computer interaction. Many times people think that UX, UI, that user experience and user interface is human-computer interaction. Well, that is only one part. But there are other 2 parts which people miss out. So we look at it very holistically. Because we are supposed to lead the path when it comes to human-computer interaction. So we have defined it in a way which is holistic, interdisciplinary, interactive, and it brings in the intelligence or enhances the intelligence in which I interface with the computer.
As I'm listening to you, Somjit, right? Kind of there is a parallel thought which was going on in my mind. We have come a long way, right? Human beings, from Darwinian theory to from the rocks phase to the Stone Age to the wheel to industry to machines to computers to. So today we are kind of creating a world where the interaction with everything is possible, right? Whatever I can imagine. I used to write a lot in my childhood, I mean, the fiction. If I have to think from that space, as a child, the imagination will go wild, right? But today, with this adult phase that I am in, right, I feel like whatever I imagine to my best, capability possible, that can come in front of me, right, in one form or another. There is no, you know, no one can stop us from dreaming more, imagining more, and then creating something more, right?
Yeah.
Also, there is another perspective that I, kind of observed as you were sharing, like, how when you were talking about the yoga mat, right? If you look at it, that's a critical pain point, right? Unless until I have a guide who can, correct my posture, I may be scared of doing yoga without anybody around me, yeah, with me, yeah, who can look at my posture and then correct me. But with this, my options are so, wide. I don't have to necessarily depend on somebody all the time.
Yeah.
I
You're
may
right.
learn the basics, I may continue to learn, I may have a master, but
Mhm.
whenever I want to practice, I have that freedom to do. Right? This is
Correct.
just a single example that I just picked from whatever you shared, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
likewise, I don't think we will have any problem which cannot be solved.
The imagination can run wild, as you said, but it can be well directed if at all the use of
Yes,
technology is proper. I'll give you an
absolutely.
example here.
Mhm.
Uh, We have created a tool which is called infinite storytelling. To your example which you gave, that it is mindless, boundless possibilities. See, today, when a kid gets born, maybe after a year or two, the parents have a trouble feeding the kid. Everyone will be a poor eater, and the parents will be as anxious to make the kid feed. So we thought that why, and then the parents will give the iPad or the phone to the kid
Yeah.
to see, and he or she will be distracted, and they will feed the kid.
Mm.
All of us have
Mm.
done.
Yeah.
So now with this Chat GPT, how can we help the parents? How
Mm.
can the kid interface with the device
Mm.
in a way which will be called as the kid computer interface? Let me call it that, not a human computer interface. So
Okay.
what we have done is we call it as infinite storytelling. By
Mm.
infinite storytelling, it means we have all read about Aesop's fable. Let me
Mm.
pick up
Mm.
the Aesop's fable, which is called the thirsty crow. I
Mm.
don't have to tell
Mm.
the story,
Yes,
but if
yes,
I tell
yeah.
you the key words, you will remember the story. One
Yeah.
is crow, black crow,
Mm.
pitcher
Mm.
half filled with water,
Mm.
pebbles. Then you will
Mm.
remember the story.
Absolutely.
All the kids would have seen that story.
Mm.
But what we are doing, trying to generate a new story, words of a story, and then we have a drop down of the type of story you want to be generated. Will
Mm.
it be a Lewis Carroll's Alice in the Wonderland type of story, or will it be a O. Henry type of story, which is with a twist, or will it be a Grimm's fairy tale, which is slightly gory, or what type of story you want? So the kid or the attendant types in the keywords, and we have the drop down menu of what type of genre of story you need,
Mm.
and this entire screen with the images will come, and the images will also come.
Wow.
That this is the
Wow.
story. If at all Lewis Carroll would have written, this
Mm.
will be the story. So so we are trying to bring in creativity. When
Mm.
Chat GPT is being told that you will create a nation of imitators, not
Mm.
creative people and things like that, but this is a forced creativity, and in the process the interaction of the kid
Mm.
with the computer becomes that much
Mm.
interesting and not addictive, and
Mm.
it will be so that is what we are trying to do.
Wow. And
And
as I'm listening to you, right, as a mom of 11-year-old, this can
Mhm.
also be our, that mom and me time. We spend some
Yeah,
time
yeah,
where we do something
absolutely.
which is of common interest, right?
Of a
We may
common
watch
interest.
something on Netflix about, food or travel,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is a common interest between me and my
yeah,
son,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
likewise, he will have some common interest with his,
Right.
father.
So you gave me an
So,
idea now how to make recipe. You are mom
absolutely,
and the kid can do a joint recipe. You put
absolutely.
the ingredients and say that make a
Correct.
recipe for two people
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
this, and out will come a recipe. Whether it will be tasty or not, we don't know, but a recipe will come out.
Absolutely. Yeah, very true. Nowadays, if you have four people at home, everybody's holding one mobile, sitting in corner and then scrolling. Yeah, WhatsApp. Everybody is having different stuff, right?
Yeah.
So in fact, recently we have got phones for our elders in the family. Right? Now we are all sitting together, but each holding a phone and then scribbling,
Yes,
scrolling
yes,
down
yes.
something
Mm,
of our own interest, right?
mm,
So, but
mm.
here, when we are making it human and technology interaction, right? Absolutely. Yeah. See, I also see the possibility of the creativity quotient,
Yeah,
the curiosity quotient in kids, not only in kids, even among parents and adults, right? It can go up. Absolutely. Okay. So we have spoken a lot about the technology side of it, right? So coming back to the human side of whatever we are discussing, and especially Nishta being the intention behind Nishta is to demystify leadership.
yeah,
So when it comes to the human and technology interaction, especially this particular space, what is your views on leadership, Somjit?
yeah. So, see, given the roles I have been playing and have played, leadership is very important
Mm.
for me. Um, uh, in my earlier part of my career, I was into business development, sales in the US. So there you show a different type of leadership. But when you lead an organization, you have to show a different type of leadership.
Mm.
Um, when I have being a leader, you have to build your organization, and the organization gets built based on what the leader wants. I'll give an example here. The current work which we are doing. When I came in here, there were only two employees, and we were hit by pandemic,
Mm.
and hirings were not there, and a lot of disillusionment with various things which were happening. Today, as we speak, we have 40 employees in my organization.
Wow.
Um, but here, when you work in a state like Himachal Pradesh, the talent pool is very limited, and but we get good talent to the extent the state can provide, and the I call it the tri-state: Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, and Punjab to be
Mm.
the tri-state, as we have seen in the US of
Mm.
New
Mm.
Jersey, Connecticut, and New York.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
true.
tri-state, where we get people from this bunch of states.
Mm.
So here, when the people come, they many a time they do not have the experience of working in a corporate world.
Mm.
So when they don't have that experience in working in a corporate world, and I come from a corporate world, you can see there is a big divergence between my expectation
Mm.
and their is a different task.
Mm.
So in
Mm.
the process, what happens is I have to wear down my corporate hat and wear up the work which we have to do, keeping the circumstances I am in. The process, we have to tone ourselves down to
Mm.
bring the thing, but yet not losing out the focus in which
Mm.
we have
Mm.
to work the organization towards.
Mm.
Work in the world of caring personally and challenging directly. So
Wow.
I challenge them, saying that you have to do this because this is what the organization needs.
Mm.
And I would be caring personally. The heart will be there to take care that they have to be trained, they have to be, we have to be patient with them and things like that. So if a person, so the heart is there for them when I'm caring personally, but the mind is there when I challenge them directly. So in the process, I follow the four box matrix which people talk about of being. The concept is called radical candor. That
Can.
means you are clear about what you want to do, but here you are also clear about the limitations or the compulsions of the individual. Like individual may be having a problem with his kid, he may be unwell, but he has to complete the job. So how do you get it done? That a leadership is balancing the heart and the mind, which one would be successful in. So caring at a personal level, not doing that just as a lip service,
Mm.
yet challenging them to complete the task in hand with high quality is
Mm.
something which is the balancing act has to be played,
Mm.
which I believe works for us from a leadership standpoint.
It's not just about demystifying leadership or defining it, right? How to
Mm.
approach the
Yeah.
people who are working, along with you in the process, in the mission that you are supposed to accomplish as a part
Yeah.
of this organization. So, it was so heartening to see that, how you beautifully used the word balancing, right? Balancing is an art. Whatever we try to balance, right? It's an art.
Yeah.
So you said it so beautifully again, balancing your heart and, brain.
Mind. Yeah.
You have to
Mind. Yeah.
think strategically,
Yeah.
execute all the strategies, but at the same time, you should be empathetic towards them, right?
Correct.
Balancing your empathy as well, how to get things done.
That's it.
So,
So
see, I mean,
basically, how to get what you want to do by saying what
yes,
you mean.
absolutely. Yeah. So there, what I saw was like, there is a clarity, first of all, in your mind, right? What is supposed to be accomplished. And then it is the transparency is something that you mentioned, right? Transparently communicating with them, make them understand the bigger picture, and then tell them why their role is very important to accomplish the bigger picture, right? That mission that the organization has taken up.
So that is what we started looking for, problem statements which will
Mm.
be people centric, so
Mm.
that we solve the problem which is meaningful.
Whenever I, talk about leadership in, be it an intervention or a coaching conversation, there is one word which pops up frequently is ego.
Mm,
Humans have ego.
mm,
I'm not looking at ego as a negative word, but
mm,
it has that negative
mm,
connotation with it. After working in different organizations as a leader, after 30 plus years of experience, you are going to one place where you have
mm.
to push yourself down to be at par with people who are going to work with you, right? So how did you manage? And definitely you would have gone through, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm assuming that, you would have gone through some emotional roller coaster and,
yeah, yeah.
stress, a huge stress, right? How did you manage all those?
Yeah, thankfully, going down is slightly easier than going up.
Oh,
So, so
okay.
yeah, so see, I always believe that, um, in fact, this is one of my very well read articles of mine, which is called Personal Brand, a
Hmm.
Pride or Prejudice, which you
Hmm.
must have read it. So
Yeah.
there, see, the beauty of reading these books is they give you concepts, but the concepts need not be spewed around and show off your knowledge, but you have to use and apply them. So that Jessica Tracy, who is a Stanford professor, has written a very nice book called, she has defined pride or ego of two types.
Hmm.
One is hubristic pride and
Hmm.
one is authentic pride. So if
Hmm.
at all I'm proud about my company and the work I do, that is called authentic pride. If
Hmm.
I am trying to show my pride and try to demean anyone and try to tell the guy that you are inferior to me, that is called, she has called it as hubristic pride. It is not my funda, it is
Hmm.
her funda.
Hmm.
But I keep that in my mind that everyone has come to the world to do his job, his or her job. It is
Hmm.
a question of the what he has been asked to do,
Hmm.
and so therefore we have to bring them to our level. Today I was talking to I was reviewing two ladies in my team. So I told her, you are managing technology. She's the what I said, what do you do? I said, I live managing technology. I said, have you thought about what does it mean to manage technology? Just because you're doing something doesn't mean that you're managing technology. So why don't you take a course which is 2 years in Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok, where they have a very strong program on managing your technology, and do that. So if at all one would have an ego, he would not have shared these things with him, because you have to see that the person, if he grows, you grow with him, not that his growth is affecting your growth. No, they are the guys who need to be trained. And I could see the kind of eyes lit her, saying that I didn't know that there is something called management of technology. I said, yes, there is. MIT Sloan School of Management gives management of technology, which is highly regarded. There is Asian Institute of Technology, which is a cheap, slightly a less expensive course in Bangkok, where you can read. So a lot of people do that, and then do that with a strong background of process methodology, how to do that. Here you are doing very intuitively. There you have to do with a knowledge of how it needs to be done. So the point here is, a review can happen where a guy is told what you have done, what you have not done, but you start thinking about that person, with the hidden agenda that if he grows,
Absolutely.
I can do something else. So that shows you have pride in whatever you are doing. That is fine, but you have to also see what else you can do to grow yourself. So therefore, these concepts which come in various thought leaders are very interesting, and I happen to read and read these things and keep them in my back of my mind to help me in my journey of managing things in different situations. And they have helped me. I can tell you that they have helped me. So this I have written in a different context, but I was keeping that in mind when I was discussing with her, saying that be proud in what you do, but that pride should not make you feel that at the end of the world you have to think something else of how to grow yourself. That is on authentic pride. There is something called hubristic pride where people may say that, hey, why should I tell him here? Let him do what he did. I am doing my job as a CEO. I have to drive numbers. I have to drive this, drive to that. So they may not. So the empathy, the way they look up to me, is a very different ball game. They look at to me as a mentor. Look up to me as a person who can help them. I may be upset with them, but they know that this being upset is of the right kind. So all these things happen. So it helps. So as I told you, going down is much
Absolutely.
easier than going up.
Beautiful. So apart from this, pride, ego, and then, keeping the self in the center, right? Whereas instead of doing that, looking at the bigger picture, looking at what is supposed to be accomplished, and then taking everybody along, right? And another perspective that I have seen here is not only that taking everybody along to accomplish that mission, also supporting everybody to grow in their own field, right? Giving them the right guidance and mentoring, right?
Yeah.
So that's clearly visible here. As far as I am concerned, right, everybody is a leader. Even my 11-year-old son is a leader in its own way, right? What would be your one message to all these young leaders who are interacting with machines or technology as well with human beings?
Hmm. Yeah. So see, I have the advantage of teaching here also. So I teach in IIT Mandi a course called Business Communication Skills for Managers. First thing you have to do is improve your reading skills. Then people said, no, no, I read it on my mobile phone, I read it on my screen. I said, no, the intensity of reading, the ability to absorb anything can only come provided you pick up a book, read it, carry a yellow highlighter, carry a pen, highlight it, and note it down what excites you about that. Once you read, then you can write. And writing is the best way to tell how your thinking is. So I give them always the example of Dick Gwindon, the American comedian, who said very pithily, saying that writing is the best way to tell you how sloppy your thinking is. So therefore, I said writing will not happen on its own. You have to read, then you have to write, and if you write, then you will think. So my only message to people is that you have to do not lose your habit of reading. Anything which comes your way, you have to read it. However abstract it is, please have a habit of reading. So then I took 4 hours of class out of the 28 hours. I asked those guys, did you people read? Yes, sir, I have read. I said, what did you read? I read news. I said, don't read news. Use the op-ed section or the editorial section and read how analysis is being done. I said, you people have all read about ISRO, Chandrayaan 3, but always read the editorial. The editorial will give you the message behind the message.
Absolutely.
So always do that. So my only suggestion to everyone is whether he's an engineer or a non-engineer or a humanities guy, always have a habit of reading. If you pick up the habit of reading, everything falls in place.
Thank you so much for saying that because I am and I read a lot and always in my
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
in my handbag you'll see one book and then
yeah,
one packet notebook also so that I can
yeah,
take
yeah. So
some
right now
notes.
I just completed this book. I would suggest that you also buy this book.
Yes, yeah. This is another
Yeah,
question that I
yeah,
wanted to ask. Humor, because the
yeah,
other day when we were interacting, you were mentioning about that, right? That's there in my list to buy.
yeah.
So definitely, that's something that I'm
Yeah.
going to read.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So I really love these guys who pick up very uncommon subjects, and they write books on this. So it is very amazing that they write 300 pages on that book, and keeping on a very nice focus of doing this. So this book has been written by a professor of Stanford University and a comedian. Can you believe it, the combination?
Okay,
In India,
combination.
we will not find that kind of combination. A guy may write on his own, but
Absolutely.
two guys have Jennifer Acker and Naomi McDonald's have
Mm.
written this book, a beautifully written book,
Mm.
very very easy to read, easy to adapt.
Mm.
And my daughter is in the US.
Mm.
She said that she's a junior scientist.
Mm.
Being scientists, they have been taught how to learn the improv skills of a comedian. He said
Mm.
always you have to loosen yourself. Always you should not be so strained that
Absolutely.
I have to do this, I have to do that.
Mm.
Always look at the other side of loosening yourself through
Mm.
what a comedian does. He said a comedian may do things on the stage, but the kind of preparation which goes to do that is enormous. So
Absolutely. Thank you. In fact, after talking to you the other day, when you introduced this book to me, right? So, I do have as a part of my, leadership development programs and all, coaching programs and all, I have storytelling. Storytelling is there as one of the topics. And then, reading books. I, in fact, make my coaches review a book, right? And then we
oh,
collate that as an ebook, right?
yeah,
So,
very good.
those things are there. But,
Mm.
relaxing themselves is a critical part of my coaching. In fact, as a part of inward journey, they
Yeah,
learn how to relax,
relaxing. Yeah,
methodically, how to
yeah,
relax.
correct.
But after listening to you, I thought, okay, I should start, creating a module on humor in leadership, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. You can do that.
that's
In
very
fact,
important.
when they told me to teach business communication, I could have repeated the same thing which I taught
Ah,
last year. But I don't want
absolutely.
to do that because
Hmm.
that will be limiting myself and
Absolutely.
not taking people to the new things which I am learning myself. So, in
Hmm.
fact, I
Hmm.
have introduced humor in business
This
communication.
one,
I have
okay.
introduced radical candor in interpersonal communication. All my experiences I have written in my book, which is
Ah,
getting published in the
yes.
next. I think today it is getting printed as we speak.
Printed. Ah,
It is
okay.
called Anecdotally Yours,
Hmm.
and there are 25 chapters. Out of that, 6 chapters I've devoted to my work in IIT Mandi in a way
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
anecdotal. I have
Hmm.
not been very preachy. I have just told what I've seen and what I know others should embrace and absorb.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
look forward to having my copy signed by you, Somjit,
Okay.
very
Okay.
soon. Thank you so much, Somjit, once again.
I also enjoyed this open discussion because many times you don't get a chance to speak with the kind of depth which is required and the kind of breadth which is required.
Absolutely.
Because many times when you interact with people, it is very shallow. So
Hmm.
this was a very in-depth discussion we had where we had time to share each.
Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much.